Good morning and welcome to the February 22nd, 2022 edition of the Cottage Grove Convention and Visitors Bureau. First item on the list for us today will be roll call, and we'll ask Jamie to help us with that.
Chairman Dennis.
Here.
Vice Chair Olson.
Here.
Director Costello.
Here.
Director Levine.
Here.
Director Patel.
Excellent, thank you. Item 3 is adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Move made by Vice Chair Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Levine. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion is adopted. Next is item 4, which is the approval of our minutes from the last meetings. We had 4.1, which is the 11/23/2021 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve that or any changes?
So moved.
Okay. Motion made by Director Levine. Do we have a second?
A second.
Director Costello, thank you. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. 4.2 is the approval of the meeting minutes from January 18th, 2022. And do I have a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Director Costello, second.
I can second that.
Second by Vice Chair Olson. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Next on the list is 5.0 business items, and 5.1 is the St. Paul Saints promotional opportunity. And Julie's going to start us and then introduce us to a representative from the St. Paul Saints.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for braving the snow outside. I am going to introduce Kaylin Johnson, who is a representative from the St. Paul Saints. She is going to be talking to us about a promotional opportunity for the Convention and Visitors Bureau. I got connected with Kaylin through Director Levine with the Chamber of Commerce. She called me one week and said, "Can you hop on this call? I think it'd be a really great opportunity for Discover Cottage Grove." I said, "I'm in." And we connected with Kaylin. And since then, I think that was back in November, December, Kaylin and I have been connecting. We think that some of the marketing opportunities that the Saints are offering this summer as a new form of promotion really align with some of our strategic objectives. And so I'm going to turn it over to Kaylin Johnson to explain a little bit more. Oh, and I'm going to bring you to your... Thanks. Thank you.
And welcome to the City of Cottage Grove.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Like Julie said, my name's Kaylin. I work for the St. Paul Saints. I've been there for about a year now, working mostly in our sales and marketing department. So while a big part of my job is doing the day-to-day ticket sales and operations side of things, another part is coming up with creative ideas to sell tickets and to also do something that's beyond just selling a ticket and creating a unique experience for people, communities, organizations, and what I'm here to talk about today really aligns with that part of my role. So I'll jump into a video that I have here that shows a little bit about who the Saints are, and we'll kind of keep rolling from there.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Ladies
It's
and
time.
gentlemen, here we are.
It's
The
time.
starting lineup for
Listen.
your hometown St. Paul.
Tonight we go all night long. We party like Post Malone. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home tonight. Ain't nobody kill my vibe. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home.
In the air, right field. Will hit. Way back. It is gone.
We are never ever going home.
Walking off Ryan Shepard.
Tonight we go all night long. We party like Post Malone. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home tonight. Ain't nobody kill my vibe. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home. Yeah, we are never ever going home. Yeah, we are never ever going home. One more drink, one more Bacardi, one more dance at this after party. We still going strong. Beat so fast, like a Ferrari. We get wilder like on safari. We still going strong. And all of these good things, good things, good things.
So I always like to start off introducing the Saints in that way because it shows that we're not just a baseball team. Obviously, that's part of it, but we're something fun, we're something exciting, and I think that really shows that off well. So I'll kind of jump into the numbers side of things, sort of breeze past it a little bit, but kind of gives you guys a statistical idea of who the Saints are. Obviously, these numbers are kind of comparing between the last few years. COVID definitely had an impact on some of those numbers, but still doing really well in as far as attendance and our capacity and how we're doing in that sense. We're also very active in the community. Obviously, that's kind of a reason why I'm here today with you guys, as far as whether that's mascot appearances, whether that is doing donation side of things to nonprofits and community organizations, or if that is actually doing things at our ballpark, like blood drives. We actually just had one last week, which went really well, doing different campaigns that are supporting the overall wellness of the community of the Twin Cities. So digitally, we've also been growing quite significantly. I actually started as our social media intern, so I got to play a big part in kind of growing those numbers over the last year, which was really exciting. As far as TikTok, clearly we didn't have anything to start with, and we've seen a lot of growth in those areas too, which is exciting, especially that's such a big part of what an organization is now. So that's also a really exciting thing to see. And this is a heat map of where our ticket sales are coming from. And I think that this is important to see because this is kind of where the idea of the community night came from, which I'll dive into here next. But obviously you can see that our fan base is, very focused in the Twin Cities area. But there are these communities that are kind of on the outskirts of that, in my opinion, are a stronger fan base to us because they have to go the extra miles to come and support us. Obviously, people who live in St. Paul, our ballpark's just around the corner. People who live in Cottage Grove, Apple Valley, Eden Prairie, they have to take those extra miles to be a fan of the St. Paul Saints, and that's something that's really important, and we want to find a way to thank that fan base and give them an opportunity to, or have us give them the opportunity to utilize the platform that we have. And finally, here's just some numbers on what an average Saints fan looks like. So obviously looking really good with, our age range. We have obviously very young fans, but we have parents, we have older people that come to games who have been with us since day one when we were back at Midway. We have a pretty equal split between men and women. So honestly, when you come to a Saints game, it kind of looks like you're at the state fair. There's just a plethora of people, and you never really know who you're going to run into. So, and now kind of jumping into why I'm here today, and that is the community night. And a little bit about where this idea came from is we had seen a lot of other minor league baseball teams do something similar to this, where, like I said, they gave communities the opportunity to utilize their ballpark, their platforms, whether that be social media, whatever that might be, and promote whatever is important to that community. So it made sense to work with Discover Cottage Grove because that is something that, you guys are looking to promote. And it started all with, working with different businesses, different chambers, community organizations, and the cities themselves to be able to really grow what this community night could look like. A little bit further with that, we have seen growth when it comes to working with different organizations that are part of a city organization and seen them grow into really exciting things. I've used a couple of photos of Biz Recycling, which is an organization that started as a very small partnership and has grown into something much bigger. And I guess I could see that being something that could be potential with you guys too, if this is something that works out this year. So, and so how are we going to get fans to show up for the community night? It's one thing to just slap a name on it and roll with it, but it's another thing to actually get people to want to be involved with that. And the biggest way that we usually do this for these promotional ideas that we come up with is through a ticket package. And so essentially what that does is it takes what could just be a regular ticket and it adds elements that could be a giveaway or an activity, like doing something on the field pregame, like a parade, for example. It could also be a donation element, so being able to give back to an organization that people really want to support. And so that is going to be something that we promote to our database of fans who are from Cottage Grove, and I think there's tens of thousands of people who have come from Cottage Grove to support the Saints, and so we want to offer this ticket package to them to be able to support their community night. And as far as the businesses and organizations and how we want to involve them is giving them the opportunity to sponsor their community night. And so most of our partnerships are season-long investments, which obviously is a big thing to jump into for just a one-night basis. And so we wanted to give businesses the opportunity to have that one-night sponsorship and that taste of what a partnership could look like with the Saints. And so the idea was to have them sponsor ticket giveaways that could be given back to their clients, their staff members, their community members, whoever it might be. And then they also get to sponsor those tickets themselves. So it'll have, this ticket is presented by Discover Cottage Grove, and you'll be able to give those away to whoever you want to present them to. We'll also have PA recognition for sponsors, so being able to shout out that these organizations are sponsoring their community for the night. And then we'll also have an in-park display, which you saw in that last photo. But it gives people the opportunity to engage with the fans who either are the community members from Cottage Grove or just our regular fan base, which either way is a just great opportunity to be able to get your name out into the ballpark there. And so what I had put together for Discover Cottage Grove is to be able to do the ticket sponsorship. So we'll have 35 outfield reserve tickets and 30 general admission tickets. You are able to utilize those in any way you see fit. We'll also do the PA recognition, so that'll probably be something that happens pregame, of being able to say, we'd like to thank Discover Cottage Grove for sponsoring the Cottage Grove Community Night this evening. Maybe a little blurb about whoever, however you guys want to advertise Discover Cottage Grove. And then we'll also do the in-park display for you guys too. So this is always how we put together our partnerships. We take into consideration what's important to you guys, what's going to be most beneficial, and we package it all together and create something that works best for you guys. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that very nice presentation. And that video, boy, that really gets you moving. I have a cup of coffee with me, but I don't know that I need the whole cup now after seeing that. Do we have any questions from our board here that we might want to ask of Caitlin before she's done? All good? Mr. Olson? Okay.
Thanks for being here this morning, especially on kind of a crummy morning for driving, so I hope you didn't have far to go. With respect to the Cottage Grove Community Night, I think you encapsulated our role in that pretty well. But if it is a Cottage Grove Community Night, are there other businesses, other entities within Cottage Grove that would also participate and that you've been working with? Are you at liberty to share any of those names or anything?
Yeah, I unfortunately don't have any specific names. Actually, Lori and I have been, Levine? Yep. Sorry. Have been working with the chamber side of things to be able to give the same sponsorship opportunities to the businesses that are a part of the chamber. Whether or not those businesses want to invest in that sponsorship is completely up to them. It's not necessary for all of the businesses to be involved in it, but it is something that I intend to reach out to Cottage Grove businesses on my own and be able to offer this to them, just to be able to be a part of it. So right now, this is the biggest organization that we have involved with it, but there's definitely room to grow as this event will happen in June. So yeah.
Well, you're on the right path, partnering with Lori, because in her role as director of the chamber, obviously she's got several different contacts that she can put you in touch with. But, as I listen to you talk about the event and, of course, the video. And I've been to, I can't tell you how many Saints games myself. It really feels like a great opportunity to celebrate Cottage Grove, period. And if we're going to call it Cottage Grove Community Night, you know, I'm hopeful that we can get all sorts of participation from around our community. We have a pretty robust, you know, business park that has been generous in the past with donations to different events and things. So I appreciate you kind of cluing us in a little bit as to the role we can play. But more importantly, what I was hoping to hear, and it sounds like you're already working on it, is, you know, it's going to be a big night for Cottage Grove, period, not just Discover Cottage Grove. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Olson. Director Levine?
And that's exactly where the conversation started. When you and I first started talking about it, it was directly a chamber type conversation, and right away I pulled Julie in, I think, on our next conversation, because I thought what a perfect fit for this organization. With that being said, I would definitely have the chamber still involved and send out the invites, and even potentially, we talked about doing maybe some type of networking event before that time, more like a business after hours kind of a thing. So kind of a little bit of everything, and being able to use the chamber database, the city database, your database. We could really just have a great large event represented by a lot of Cottage Grove residents and businesses.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, one of the ways that we found our promotions to be the most successful is when there's a lot of layers to it and a lot of moving parts. And while that can be a lot to juggle at times, it makes it the most exciting nights to have. So ideally, Discover Cottage Grove is just one of those layers, but we'd like to obviously add more and more things to it, so.
Excellent. All right, anything else we want to mention? Julie, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I just wanted to say that there's a recommendation in front of you. If there are no further questions, here it is. Otherwise, both Kayla and I are happy to answer any more questions.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so we do have a motion on the screen to approve the St. Paul Saints proposal of the Cottage Grove Community Night on June 11th at CHS Field for $900. Do I have a motion
I'll make
on
the
this?
motion to approve community night.
Excellent. Motion made by Director Levine. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Second by Vice Chair Olson. Is there any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And then we'll move along. Item number 5.2 is the 2021 fourth quarter revenue reporting, and Jamie will assist us with that.
Thank you, Chairman Dennis, members of the board. I'm just going to give you a quick recap of the revenue collections for quarter 4 of 2021. We did use conservative estimates of 40% occupancy rate for all of our quarters in 2021. Quarter 4, we collected $14,763 in lodging tax revenue, which is about 33% over our estimated revenue number, bringing our total 2021 revenue to $59,987, which is 35.6% over our estimated revenue for 2021. 2022 revenue estimates are based on 60% occupancy rate, and looking at these numbers, we kind of feel like we're right on for our projections for 2022. So with that, I will stand for any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. Do we have any questions for Jamie on that? Okay. So what we were here to do is to receive this revenue update. Do we need anything other than to receive it?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, there's no specific action
Okay.
required.
So thank you so much. We're all set. And then moving on to item 5.3, which is the annual report. And this will provide some highlights, including some of the goals that we had set. Julie will help us with that.
Thank you so much. Yes, included in your packets on Friday was the 2021 annual report for the Cottage Grove Convention and Visitors Bureau. The annual report included highlights and accomplishments of the 2021 year, in addition to some goal setting for 2022. I just wanted to note a few different things taken out of the report or maybe not be obvious in the report. In 2021, we had a lot of changing faces and things going on. And of course, my favorite highlight of the year was my position, the Marketing and Communications Specialist, was created. So that was very exciting. And I did just want to note too, the departure of Director Wolf, who played a very large role in the creation and formation of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. But I am happy to say that with our staff that we currently have in place, we are very well positioned for growth in the future. So highlights from the highlights of the year. These are sort of my top 5 of what I'm extremely proud of that I pulled out from the 2021 year. As Jamie mentioned, we exceeded our budget revenue projections for 2021. I am elated at that. Not only does that bode well for us as a visitors bureau, but what it tells me is that the travel and tourism industry is beginning to rebound from the pandemic that we are still currently in. So hopefully we are out of the worst and continuing to move forward and grow. Of course, the creation of the Cottage Grove Visitors Guide, something physical that we can have in our hands and hand out and show people what we're all about. And then, of course, a $10,000 award from Explore Minnesota to help that process move through with the Visitors Guide. And then really one thing that, looking through the annual report, I just wanted to note how many communication channels we've really opened up to expand our reach and our audience to our target markets. We started with Facebook and we added Instagram and Twitter, and our website really got up and running in 2021. We add to our calendars on the website and the Explore Minnesota calendar to really reach our max amount of people possible. We send out a monthly constant contact to over 500 subscribers. We're partnering with the South Washington County Telecommunications Commission to do promo videos with us. So I'm really proud of all of these different avenues that we are creating and exposing Discover Cottage Grove to for people. They say somebody has to see something 7 times for it to stick. And so this is part of that methodology. So I'm really happy with what we've started and where we're going with that. And then, of course, some of the partnerships that we have established when we were working on the Visitor's Guide. I'm really proud to say that our guide would not be as effective as it is right now had we not reached out to local businesses and advertisers and sourced some of this information. So I'm really proud that we have some of those things going on. Of course, some of our goals moving forward for fiscal year 2022, which we're currently in. It may have sounded a little vague in the annual report, but continue creative and impactful marketing. Really, some pieces that exemplify that are going to be the showcase, the spring showcase that we're going to be at in April, the St. Paul Saints Community Night that you just heard, and the Strawberry Fest, Cottage Grove's largest event of the year, which we will have a presence at. So that's just some of the examples of that creative and impactful marketing that I'm talking about. And then being a service to local businesses, really important. We mentioned a monthly email previously to inform local businesses of upcoming large-scale events. So if they thought it could potentially impact them, they could take steps necessary to do that. That's in place already. It's been well received. And then something that we're working on right now, reaching out to inform businesses that we are here to help them. So if they have large-scale activities or events going on, we want to help market those if they're in line with our strategic objectives and to help them get the promotion out there in ways that we're able to do that for them. And then something later on this year, we'd like to create a thoughtful marketing plan around Small Business Saturday to help promote our local businesses here in Cottage Grove and to showcase them. So we're going to be working on that later this year in November for that Small Business Saturday. And then lastly, continue growth and refinement in our communications and marketing outreach efforts. You saw all those communication channels in my last slide. I really do believe that we put things out there, we analyze, we come back, is it working, is it not working? readjust and keep doing that to grow stronger and create the best possible presence that we can to our audiences. I will stand for any questions or comments.
All right, Julie, thank you so much. And, there's a lot of really great things that we do here as a city. We're a very forward city, and in many instances, a city that others look to as an example for how we do the process of our work and our business. And so as I look at this thing and I think back on where this started, Mayor Bailey and I have gone out to Las Vegas to promote our city for a number of years now. And we ran into some potential investors at the time who were involved with hotels and lodging businesses. And we've been trying to recruit some more here because we need them. And so the first thing that, he and I ran into is the question is, do you guys have a lodging tax? And, as I've said up here before, normally a tax doesn't sound like a good thing, but this is a user fee that is encouraged by these types of investors. So they collect money from their clients and then in turn help to provide this as a funding mechanism for exactly what we're doing right here. So to see where we've come from that simple point of connection with investors to actually putting together a full-blown program, including this beautiful official visitor's guide for our area, it's amazing. And it's my opinion, and I'll hold to it, but of all the things we do, this might be the most positive of everything across the city, because we're promoting and we're showing people what a great place Cottage Grove is. So it's amazing, and I cannot say enough about the work that's done. If I was the teacher giving you a grade, I'd give you an A+ for it. I feel that strongly on it, and I'm also very excited for the fact that we are going back to ICSC here in a couple months, and you can bet that we will be utilizing this process as a tool to help bring more investment here to town. So I thank you for the work, and I'll provide an opportunity for feedback. Anyone who wants to share? Vice Chair Olson.
Thank you for that very nice recap. I think you did a good job encapsulating some of the big wins, but to piggyback on what the chair just said, this thing right here, wow, what a wonderful accomplishment. When I think about the year in review, that's what stands out to me, and you certainly deserve a lot of credit for that, so thank you. One thing you mentioned in the slides that you just presented was working hand in hand with Strawberry Fest. Strawberry Fest is a big deal, and folks have missed it terribly for the last couple of years. As a former president of that organization, one of the things I can say with absolute certainty is there are hundreds of opportunities to partner in various ways with the group. We just agreed to a $900 sponsorship with the St. Paul Saints for a community night. One thing we may want to consider is looking at the Strawberry Fest menu and asking ourselves if there's something within the scope of that event that we want to become a sponsor for. They have individual sponsors for lots of different events, and then they have global sponsors for the event as a whole. Has that conversation been brought up by anybody at Strawberry Fest to Discover Cottage Grove, or have we had any dialogue with them to your knowledge?
Internally, we've had some conversations. I have been connected with Lori from the Strawberry Fest. Unfortunately, being out of the office, I think I missed their first meeting, but I am planning to attend their next meeting to just as a newer member of the staff and to the community, introduce myself and start making those introductions and conversations occur.
Yeah, Lori is a great resource. She succeeded me as the president, and she is extremely involved and very busy. I would encourage maybe a conversation with Councilmember Thiede, who sits on the Strawberry Fest committee. I know that our Cottage Grove Lions Club, we also do sponsorships with Strawberry Fest, and it's proven to be a very valuable opportunity to engage with the public. Really a good chance for us to not only get our name out there, and maybe explain a little bit about who we are and what we do, but actually just an opportunity to be amongst the people at the event so that folks who may not have a clue that we even exist have a chance to bump into somebody from the Convention and Visitors Bureau and ask some questions and just, increase our profile to some degree. So I just wanted to suggest that that would be something, at least me personally, I would encourage us to look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Olson. Any other feedback? Director Levine?
So I will agree with what has been said previous to me, and I just wanted to say I'm in love with this. This is just awesome, so congratulations, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
Director Costello?
I ditto everything. No, the guide is really great, and this is a long time coming, so thank you for being able to put it together. So it's really wonderful.
All right, well, thank you. And with that, we'll move on to item 6, which is other business. The first item is Convention and Visitor Bureau comments. Do we have any comments from anyone today? Okay.
I've made mine, I'm good.
Okay, well, I do have a comment, in that we're going to be going out as a professionally represented organization. And so one of the things for the community to know is that Vice Chair Olson and I are both involved with Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. And so one of the things that we recently did was to upgrade our organization by getting some new shirts made and some jackets that have our logo and such on there. So what I would like to do is see if we could get some support here from the board to provide direction that we can get some shirts made. We've got a wonderful logo, which we have on our agenda sheet. I don't know if this can be seen or not, but if we could get that put on shirts, embroidered or done as a patch, whatever we think would be best. I would also make recommendation on that we would go with a local company. I know that we just had Advanced Sportswear do ours, and they did a fantastic job. So I would, I guess what I probably would do with that is just see if there's a second, or actually if someone wants to make the motion for me, so that we can get some shirts made, at least take a look at what we have for an estimate to get that done. And it would be one for each of the board members here, and then Jennifer, whatever appropriate number of staff that you would feel would be good, so.
If we are going to pursue that through Advance, one other thought would be planning for Strawberry Fest. Oftentimes what we do is, depending on who you are, you have giveaways. And if we're gonna set up, a tent and a table in the business area of Strawberry Fest, we may wanna consider, in addition to shirts, some small trinkets as giveaways to people. And I know Advance can certainly help us with that. So I guess I'm all in favor of that, but I wanted to add that as another thing to think about, especially because I know they have struggled to some degree over the course of the last several months with either some of the materials that they need to print and also some of the printing materials themselves, whether it's an ink or something along those lines. So the sooner we get out in front of that, the better. But I definitely agree with Chair Dennis, and I would move that we pursue both of those options.
Okay, so we have a motion on that. And then do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Director Costello, and then just for further discussion, since our group here meets once a quarter, we probably would want to take action on this soon for a number of reasons, including supply chain issues, because they'll have to order, some products and things like that for us. So I just would rather we get on this and not have to bump up against that short window of time. So any further discussion?
Also, I'll just add to that, and I love both of those ideas, and really taking a look at, I'm working with other businesses within the chamber, looking forward of having enough tchotchke-type items for the community showcase and Strawberry Fest, and, looking ahead because of the shortage that's out there. So I would recommend kind of doing it all at once.
I agree.
Awesome.
Yeah, with our Be on the Yellow Ribbon team, we have the advantage of, we have a state-level organization that we report to, and oftentimes they'll have Frisbees or can coolers or different things, but in this instance, we don't have that. We're self-contained, so that's good advice.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we've given enough direction in that,
Julie's writing features.
motion
Yes.
that was changed a few times. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so with that, no other comments from anyone? 6.2 is response to previous comments, so we do not have any today. And before we go to adjournment, I'll mention that our next meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 24th of 2022. Now, I just want to mention, some of us are going to be in Las Vegas at that time. So
Would it make sense to postpone?
either move it up a week or take it back a week if we could.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I would encourage you, if you could work it into your schedules to potentially meet the Tuesday before we depart. I think that would be great to obviously keep as much staff and board members here to have the synergy that you guys have already built upon. So that would be a positive thing if your schedules would permit.
Okay, fantastic. So looking at the calendar, if we go back 1 week, that would be Tuesday, May 17th. So we'll make that as a note, that will be our next meeting right here in the council chambers at 7:30 a.m. And with that, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Levine. Everyone, thank you. Have a fantastic day.